book review and welcome to my first book haul video. And to be honest, I'm so excited for today's video as this is gonna be my first book haul. And as you saw in the thumbnail and the title, I read 3 amazing books this September, and I really like to share these books, and plus this video is a mixture of book review, book talk, and plus I'm gonna explain these 3 books. And like in this video I have 2 5-star reads and 1 3.5-star read, and those two that one 3.5-star read is like so much amazing. I recommend you all to read it because like it's so funny and I just liked it so much. I laughed very hard while reading that book. And now let's begin our video. So our first book of this book haul is gonna be Fangirls by Rowell, and to be honest, I love this book. Like really, this book touched my heart, and this is really a beautiful book to read. Like some viewers may find it like classical and like this type of, but believe me, this book is not like that. This book is like classic and like with a little touch of romance in it. And also like if you talk about this book's characters, they are all awesome. Like I can't even rank them. I like them all too much. And if you talk about the main protagonist, she's just like I don't have words to describe her. The more I say about her, the less it is. And like this, and I'm really surprised that this was only Rainbow Rowell's second novel, and which was published in 2013. And like I was really surprised that why haven't I read this book till now. Like this was her already second novel. I think her first novel was Carry On or something. As this was her second novel, she did a lot better. I mean when I first read this book, I thought like yeah, maybe she's an author who has like over 50 or 60 books written. But no, this was the second novel. I was pretty impressed and like surprised to know that. On Goodreads, this book has a rating of 4 on 5, which is I think like pretty less, because to me I would give this book it's a 5-star book to me because I liked it so much. And I think on Goodreads this rating is a little less. Goodreads, update yourself. Now Fangirls is a young adult novel published by Rainbow Rowell, which was like a sequel to Carry On, but like this was a third published novel after all. I mean it's a young adult novel, and before this, like before ordering like this type of paperbacks book, I have read many young adult novels, but they were all in fantasy, and I was too blinded by to see like this type of books. I think that Rowell should publish a new book like every year or two, because like her writing is so amazing. Like the way she describes everything beautifully, and like the way for example, the way in the beginning of the book she was describing Kat's and Reagan's room in the dorm. Like that was so amazing. Like I could imagine the room in my head. So that's how. And I personally think that she rolled her eyes, he rolled her eyes. This is like Rainbow Rowell's favorite line, because like if you see after every 1 or 2 or other chapter, this line is written, and like I literally type of like this line. So like also this book tells us about or makes us realize the daily beautiful things that we neglect. Like for example, you can take change of relationships with people as we move on in our life. Like for example, someone is a friend, so like he or she doesn't want to be a friend anymore, and he or she just leaves, and you are like, okay, she doesn't want to be my friend. Or every, like for example, if not me, but if some of you are like extroverts or extroverts or something, you would like probably make 2 or 3 friends a day, and that is a thing that we neglect. And like something like for example, like when I was like in second or first grade, like every student in the class will like every day will come to me like saying that, hey, can we be friends? And I would be like, okay, but we are classmates, and to me we are already friends. So like this book follows two identical sisters, Kath and Ren, and I was pretty impressed to I pretty surprised to see their personalities. Like for example, Kat is an introvert like me, and Ren is an, I think, like extrovert. Like yeah, she's kind of an extrovert, and I like Ren's personality because like her personality is type of caring, cool, and like type of cringe. But like Ren is always out partying, and like, but like in the beginning of the book when like she was out partying and all, I thought that like she didn't care about the family, because of her personality. But as the book moved on, I saw that how Ren cared for her sister, family, and friends. And at a chapter, some of you have read this book, like in a chapter when their dad are scolding Ren like really cares about their dad and like what is happening, what is going on in the situation. And like if we talk about Kat's personality, she's like good, yeah, like she's type of caring, a bit sensitive when it comes to her friends or family. Like she's a type of introvert and like always like writing fan fiction about like her favorite book series, which is by in this book by Gemma T. Leslie, something like this author, and named Carry On. And like in this book we also find like after every chapter and at the end of the book there's a bonus chapter of like small parts of Kat's fan fiction, which I didn't really like reading because like as you know there I think parts are from between and I really don't understand them. But but if we talk about like, let's come to like the other characters. Like for example, if we come about like Levi and Kat's relationship, I think they both are a perfect match for each other. But like at some point I think so, but at some point I think that they are not. Like I also like to write fan fiction, but like not that much like Kat does. Like yeah, I've only written like 5 or 6 pieces of fan fiction which I've never posted. But like Kat is also great writing fan fiction and so on. I don't know what I'm talking about, but still. So the story revolves around like Kat and Ren, like how they would shift in the campuses in their first freshman year, and like this story revolves around this, like how Kat's an introvert, she like how she becomes an ambivert. Like I didn't even realize that like when she became an ambivert and like starting to interact a little from a little people. Like for example, if like she now I can't think of an example at the moment, but like yeah, she sort of in my point of view becomes an ambivert or something. So this was the book's review and I was really impressed by reading this book. That's why I kept it on the first number in this book haul because I really liked it. And I recommend this and I like like those of you like Shakespeare and like these are authors, and like, you should probably read Fangirl because like it's such a great book. And even my friend found it boring in the beginning when I told her what this book was about, but then I gave her like read a chapter of it or some, and like she was just crazy and like asking me to borrow this book, and I was like fine, finally understood what this book is. So our next book in our book haul is The Silent Patient by Alex McAleary's, and to be honest, this was my first psychological thriller and this book was amazing. Like really, I really wanted to keep it on the first, on the top of this book haul. And to my point of view, this book was just like amazing. On Goodreads, this book has a 5/5 5/5 rating. But to my point of view, if I give it rating, I would give it a 5.515 because this book has marvelous, spectacular, I don't know how much to describe it, but like there are so much plot twists which like surprises back to back, back to back, back to back. And that's why I gave it 0.5 extra rating because of the amazing plot twists and the characters of this book. Like for example, like that's another thing that I like only a few characters in this book, but still. And I think that this book, like Alex McAleary's, like has a great imagination and a sense of humor because to me, this book was written to confuse readers. Like really, I would tell you about all this, and I would really like to discuss this book in a like. And I would really like to make a separate video on this book, which would I think come in future or so. So there's like also like this book was written by British author Alex Michaelides, and this book is, as I told you, is a psychological thriller, and it has also like audiobook available, and which was published on the same date as this book was published. And this book was published I think on 5th September 5th I think September or April 2000, I don't know, 2000 only, I think so. And this book is like really amazing. I prefer like those of you like to like watch the like serial killer type of animes, movies and TV shows. For example, if you any of you have watched The Beginning or Zodiac Killer documentary on Netflix, you would probably like this book so much, because in the end I got literally confused about what the ending was about. And literally needed a therapist, and I kept processing the information in my mind for like an hour or so. That's how confusing this book is in the ending. Like for example, the author wants to confuse us in the beginning, because to me the events of this book takes place from the past to like, for example, if an event of this book is like going on in the present, it will turn automatically to the past, and that's a thing we don't realize that confuses us in the ending. Like some people even have to read this book 2 or 3 times to just understand its ending. Like for example, take my friend in the school who have read this book, and like she has read it like 2 or 3 times just to understand this book's ending. So now you can guess what's this book about. So in this book basically follows like two people. To me, this book has like two protagonists. One is Alicia Berenson and one is Theo Faber. Now in this book, as you know, if some of you have read the summary, there is this 33-year-old woman named Alicia Berenson, like who shoots her husband 5 times in the head, and shoots her husband 5 times in the head, and like she never speaks again. Like everyone believes that like actually she has mental problems, and that's where the author wants us to get confused. Like for example, we are like reading the story from Theo Faber's point of view, who is a psychotherapist and the antagonist and the protagonist of this book at the same time. Like like let me explain you in detail a little. Like for example, Alicia's husband is Gabriel, and like there's a spoiler alert, and Theo's wife is Kathy. Now both Gabriel and Kathy are unfaithful, and like what happens. So like one day when Theo gets to know this, he follows Gabriel to his house where he finds Alicia. And one day, like as you know, in the middle parts of this book, on the Alicia's diary, she describes a man watching her. And actually, we all think if she has mental problems, well, that is not so, because actually Alicia don't has any mental problems. Her childhood was traumatic. That's another thing. But actually, she has no mental problems. And like it was really Theo who was watching him, who was watching Alicia, and Alicia doesn't know that it was Theo, and Theo's doesn't know that Alicia knows that he is watching her. Oh. And so like one day when Theo is like in so much anger, this book's like literally going on like in the past, and like in the Alicia's diary, or like I think something, and like how Theo breaks into their house, kills like shoots Gabriel 6 times in his head. That's how it is described in the book, and that's where it starts. And Alicia recognizes that like it's actually Theo, her psychotherapist, who is like trying to figure out what happened. But actually, I didn't understand it was like why Theo broke into Alicia's house, like why he became Alicia's therapist when he knew what happened. Maybe he's scared of maybe he's like scared of if Alicia speaks or she doesn't, or but like why did he make her speak? And so the story is like, this book is like really complicated, and I'm like pretty surprised. Like I got confused in between the books, in between the chapters, so I had to read a few pages of the book again. and I understood this book out of my mind. And and as I know, I rated this book of 5.5, and because of the amazing plot twists, and I would recommend, well, I would recommend it. So you know this was this book's review, and like I really wanted to read this book from a long time, as this was in my wish list for like a month or so, but like I can't find any reviews, or like some better reviews which could explain in detail that how this book really was. And but so I took the risk and ordered it, and to me this book was amazing. And plus there's another thing, like if any of you have any queries about this book, or like in the between, you can like just like type in the comments, and feel free to type in the comments, because I think I will be answering them, because this book is like very very complicated. So our last but not the least book in this book haul video is Tom Gates, absolutely fantastic. Now, to be honest, I read a book of Tom Gates. Like this book was written by Liz Piken, and I read a book like this first time, like of Tom Gates. I've heard about this book like on many social media platforms, and like my friends also recommended me this, but like I was like, what's in this book? The fear of like reading something new which does not turns out to be good, or we don't like it. But I read this book the first time, and I'm really obsessed with this book. Like they're like I rated this book a 3.5 on 5, but like there were some reasons, there were some personal reasons why I rated this book like this. But like this book is really funny and interesting, and actually, to be honest, this book is not mine. I borrowed it from the school library, and the library has a full series, like every book in this Tom Gates series, and to me I would like to read them all and review them also, because like this book is really funny. So like this book follows a boy named Tom Gates. Like every book of the series follows a different storyline. Like in this book, Tom Gates is in 5th F, like I got to know it from social media, and he's in 5th F, and his class teacher, I think his homeroom teacher, Mr. Fullerman, announces that class 5th is going on a trip. And like this book is like about how daily life students face struggles, and like funny and awkward situations. And that's why I like this book, because I think like in this book, one or two situations are like mine too, which I faced in like 3rd or 4th grade or something. This book is really funny to read, and I recommend that those of you are like a little sad and depressed, you should read this book also, because it reminds you of like your past school life, like before the lockdown, how the school used to be, and now how the school is, like wearing masks all day. So I know that this book's review was so short that I gave, but this book is not that short to read. This book is really amazing. I would recommend you to read this book absolutely. So this was today's video, and I hope you like this video. Like I know that this video is very very late after such a long time, but I've been posting shorts and like all the schoolwork. So this was today's video, and that's what I meant to say. Bye.